Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Okey, kita berjumpa lagi. Okey, we are now in week 11 actually. Alright, so this is the continuations of lessons for the labs. Okay, so we are now in lesson 09. Alright, lesson 09, week 10. Okay, so the topic is manipulating data, or more specific is DML. Stand for data manipulations language. Okay, alright. So without further ado, let's move to the next slides. Okay, so for the next slides, the objectives for these lessons is, number one is to describe each data manipulation language. Okay, stand for DML. DML stand for data manipulation language statements. Okay, and then how to insert a rows into a tables, update a rows into a tables, delete a rows, and also control the transactions. Okay, so this is actually comes from topics transactions management. Okay, so for these lessons, we are concentrate on SQL, structured query language. Okay, as you know, before this, in my previous lessons, on my previous lecture, right? So data manipulation language is actually how we going to manipulate the data into the table, data in the tables. Okay, so maybe we can insert the data, update the data, or delete the data. So in what? In tables. Okay, so we are trying to manipulate the data. So this is what we call as a data manipulation language. Okay, let's move to the next slides. Okay, so we are supposed to be here, right? This is data manipulation language. Alright, so the keywords for DML is like you see here, is selects, inserts, update, delete, and also merge. This is it's a common clause for data manipulation language. So the previous one we use quite frequent is select, right? Select from, select column, from where, and so on. So in this lesson, we are going to look into how to insert, to update, and to delete. All right. Okay. So for the next lessons, we are going to looks into data definition language (DDL). Okay. This is for the next lessons. All right. So let's move to the next slides. Okay. So for adding new rows in the tables, okay. Number one is how to insert a row in the tables. So let's move to the next. Alright, so data manipulation language, number one is DML statement is executed when you add a new rows to a table, modify existing rows in the tables, and also remove existing table from the rows. So this is what we call DML. Okay, so it's quite straightforward. Right, and also a transactions consists of collections of DML statement that form a logical units of works. Okay, so what is logical units of works? Okay, let's say we want to add, we want to modify, we want to remove, and so on. Okay, so example here. Okay, this is the example. Consider a banking database. When a bank customer transfer money from a saving account to a checking account, the transaction might consist three separate operations: decreasing the savings, increasing the checking account, and also recording the transaction in the transaction journal. Okay, the Oracle server must guarantee that all three SQL statements are performed to maintain the account in a proper balance. Okay, so this is lesson in chapter transactions. Okay, when something prevent one of the statement introduction transaction from executing, the other statement of the transaction must be undone. Okay, so let's say for example, is supposed to decrease the saving account, but it's not happen. So the rest, increasing the checking account, also recording the checking account, must be undone. We must look back what happened to the account and also to the transactions of the accounts. Okay, so this is not in SQL Developer. Okay, click the Run Script icon and also press F5 to run the statement. Okay, so this is if let's say we are using SQL Developer. So to create the SQL. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, so this is quite basics for adding a new row to a table. Okay, it's quite straightforward for this SQLs. Okay, let's say we have a department here. Okay, we want to add a new row. All right, 70 public relation, 100 and also 1700. Okay, so we want to insert new row into the department table. For example, we want to insert a new row into a table departments. Okay, so this will come here. Okay, all right. So what is the SQL statement? Okay, let's move to the next slides. Okay, so the statement is quite simple. Okay, number one, add a new row to a table by using the insert statement. And before this, we quite frequent use select. Okay, select is also one of the elements or clause in the DML, and insert is also one of the elements in DML. Okay, so for insert, we are going when we use insert, it's actually we want to add a new row. So the statement is quite simple here. Insert into table whatever column we want. What is the value? The value based on the column here. Okay, right. So the statements with the value clause adds only one row at a time to a table. Okay, so this value will add only one row at a time. So if let's say we want to add more than one row, okay, we can put something like this. Okay, insert all into my table, column 1, column 2, column 1, column 2, and so on, and whatever value that we want. Okay, so if let's say we use something like this. Okay, so this is only add one row at a time. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, inserting the new row. Okay, number one. Okay, this is what we call as insert. This is the example here. Insert a new row. Insert a new row containing value for each column. List values in the default order of the columns in the tables, and optionally list the columns in the insert clause. Okay, so optionally. Okay, so in this example, we use insert into. Okay, this is the table name, the table departments. All right, this is all the column name, department ID, department names, manager ID, and also location. So here we have four columns, right? So what is the value of these columns? Okay, we put a value here. So number 1 is 70, number 2 is public relation, number 3 is 100, and number 4 is 1700 based on these 4 columns. Right, so please make sure if let's say we insert 4 columns, okay, we must put value based on the column itself. If let's say we put 4, the value also 4. But remember here, when we're supposed to add here, all right, single quotations. Okay, if let's say 1700, we don't have to put a single quotations. So because of this is a number. Okay, so please remember again. All right, so this is what we call enclose a character and date value within a single quotation marks. Okay, I think this one is based on the previous lessons. We do it based on our previous lesson. Okay, so the next one, okay, so this is the statement here. Okay, insert departments, okay, tables, column, department ID, department name, manager, locations, and this is all the value. So automatically after we insert, it will appear here. Alright, so it will appear here. 280 private relation 100 1700 and so on. Okay, next slides. Inserting rows with a null value. Okay, so we have two methods, implicits and also explicits. Okay, implicits omit the column from the column list, right? And if let's say explicit specify the null keywords in the values clause, right? Specify the null value. Okay, if let's say for this example, we want to insert only department ID and department names column. Okay, so we have two columns here, and the value is 281 and also purchasing based on this column, right? So this is what we call implicit because they omit the column from the column list. This is column list. If let's say we have two here, right? So we must omit. We must put two value. All right, and automatically, okay, this value will insert here. But we know in our department tables, we have another column that is manager ID and also location. So for this example, okay, manager ID and location ID will automatically put null here. Alright, because they want to match the number of the original column in the table. Okay, but if let's say we use explicit method, if let's say we use explicit method, we need to specify the null keyword into the values clause. Okay, so in this example, we just put insert into department, insert into table department, without put column name. Right, so but we know in this table we have four columns. So when we put a value here, okay, so we must put 101 finance. If the rest is no value, we just put null and also null to match the number of columns in these tables. Okay, so this is what we call explicit methods. Alright, so the result going to be the same. So, okay, this is 101, this is finance, this is null, and this is also null. Okay, alright, so we have two methods here, implicit and also explicit. So depends on situation when we are going to use this method. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, inserting special values. The sysdate. Okay, the sysdate function record the current date and time. Okay, so this is also something that is not new. We already seen this keywords, sysdates. Okay, so in this example, insert into employees table, right? Employee ID, first name, last name, phone number, emails, hire dates, job ID, salary, commission, PCT, and also department ID. Right. So this is the value that we want to insert. Okay, so for the date here, hire date, we put sysdate. Right. So this is the what we call as the special value. Okay, so for this value, here we have column name, hire date, and the value is sysdate. We are not putting any date format, like say for example 11 May 2020 and so on. We just put sysdate because sysdate will record the current date and also times. Okay, so this color is supposed to be here. Alright, so this is what we call sysdate, and automatically it will put the current date here. Okay, so this is what we call insert a special values. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, so insert specific dates and also times. We can put specific dates. So for example here, inserts into employees. Okay, so this is all the specifics data, and we put to date. Okay, we put to date here. So we put a very specific format, specific dates and also time value, MON, DD, YYYY, and so on. Okay, so we can also do something like this, insert specific date and also time values. Okay, so automatically it will put the value is going to be something like this, month, day, and so on. Okay, so supposed to be here, but when we change to date, it will appear something like this. Okay, you follow the date functions. Okay, February 03, month, day, year, and so on. Okay, but please be careful with the date. And sometimes the format is quite different. Okay, but we can change the format later. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Okay, creating a script. Alright, so this is what we call as using the substitution variables here. Okay, so this is what we call as a substitution variable. This is in chapter, the previous chapter. Before this, we already learned about the substitution variable. Okay, but we cannot use the substitution variables using the SQL Apex. Okay, but then it's quite okay. Alright, so we just put value here based on the subscription variables, and automatically it will put inside the table. Okay, so this is what we call as using a substitution in a SQL. This is what we call as a substitution variables. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, copy rows from another table. Okay, we can also copy. So we still use insert statement, but we can copy row from another table. Okay, so for this example, insert into sales. We want to insert into these tables, sales underscore REP. Okay, the ID names, the salary, the commissions, but we select from table employee. Okay, so we select from table employee the same column name, the same column. If let's say here we have 1, 2, 3, here also we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, alright, select employee, last name, salary, and so on from employee where job ID likes REP. Okay, so we want all job ID in the middle have REP statement. This is what we call as a column likes. For we can use the likes statement. Okay, and do not use the value clause. Okay, so do not use the value. So normally insert into the partner is the value, but this time we use select. Do not use the value clause. Okay, so this is another things that we need to understand. Okay, match the number of column in the insert clause to those in the sub query. Alright, so we must make sure we match. Alright, so we match the number of columns in the insert clause to those in the subquery, and then inserts all the rows returned by the subquery in the table sales REP. Okay, number one, of course, if let's say we want to do this exercise, we need to create the sales REP table first and add this column. Okay, ID, name, salary, and also commission. ID, name, salary, and also commission. Here we have employee ID, last name, salary, and also commission. And we have 4 columns here. Okay, we have 4 columns here, and automatically we can copy from this statement and we put into sales REP table. Okay, so this is what we call as a copy rows from another table. Okay, the only thing that you do, please do not do is do not use the value clause. Okay, next. Alright, so the next one, lesson agenda for The second one is changing data in a table. Alright, so we are using update statement here. Okay, let's move. Okay, so now we can change data in the tables. If let's say here, okay, we have table employees here, right? So we want to change this value, 60 into 80. Okay, so we can change the data in the tables. Okay, and we can use this is what we call as update a row. So before this we use insert. Now we use update. Okay, next. Okay, update the statement. Update statement syntax. Okay, number one, we must put update table. Set the column where we want to update, and also we can use where conditions. Right? Alright, so update more than one table, more than one row at a time if required. Okay, what is the SQL here? Alright, so for the update, modify value for a specific row or row are modified if you specify the where clause. Okay, so for this example, we want to update table employees. Set the department ID is equal to 50. 50 is the new value. 50 is the new value where employee ID is 11113. So before this, the employee ID is 113. Now we want to change or update the value to 50. Alright. So check output before and after updating. Okay. So this is one row updating. So this is the previous data. The previous value employee ID is 113. Now we want to change the value to 50. Alright. The next one, values for all the rows in the table are modified if you omit the where clause. Okay, if let's say we are not putting where clause here, okay, so all the rows in the table will change. Okay, so for this example, update this table, copy employee, set department ID is equal to 1110. Okay, so please remember, so all department ID in this table will change to 110 because it will update all of the row here. So if let's say we are not put the statement where, okay, so please be careful. Alright, so please be careful and specify sets column equals to null to update a column value. Alright. Okay, so to update the column value to null. Okay, so please be careful. If let's say we are not put where here, so all 22 rows will updated to what? To the number 110. Okay, next. Alright. Okay, so updating two columns with a subquery. Okay, we can use a subquery. So I think we already learned about the subquery. Right, updates employees 114 jobs and salary to match those of employee 20205. Right, so we want to update employee 114 jobs and salary to match those of employee 20205. Okay, so number one, we update the table employees, right? So this is we set subquery number one, job ID is equal to job ID employees where the employee ID is equals to 205. Okay, then the number two, we select the salary, and number one we select job ID, number two we select salary where the employee ID also equals to 205 and where the employee ID is equals to 11114. Okay, so in this statement we can see that all the selected value will change, will be updated. Okay, so this is the previous. Okay, so this is the previous data here. Okay, employee 205, salary 205. Okay, so job ID is AC manager and the salary here is 12,000. Right, so automatically it will change the value. It will update the value. Okay, so if let's say we can see here, this is 114, this is row 11, 114. Okay, update. We can update all the value here. Okay, so in these situations, okay, we can update two columns with a subquery. We can update two columns with a subquery. Alright, so okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, so updating a row based on another table. Okay, we can also update a row. Sorry, we can also update rows based on another table. Okay, in this subqueries, in the update statements, to update row value in the table based on values from another table. Okay, so we want to update this table. Okay, we set the department ID is equals to, this is the select statement, where employee ID is equals to 100, and also where job ID is equals to, select employee ID is 200. Okay, so employee ID 100 is actually 90. Employee ID, job ID for the employee ID 2000 is actually AD, assistant. Okay, so automatically it will copy, updating rows based on this table. So whatever data in this table, employee, will be updated to this new table, copy EMP. Okay. Alright, so if let's say we want to create this, we want to use this one. Also, we want, of course, we have to create a new table and name it as a copy NMP, and also create a column similar to employee table, 11 columns, and copy from employee table, slide number 13, and after that we can move, we can update all the new employee copy EMP based on table employee here. Okay, so this is what we call updating rows based on another table. Okay, so alright, so for this part, for this lesson, this is considered part 1. Okay, I will stop here. Okay, so we can continue with part 2, removing rows from a table using delete and also truncate. So with that, I think thank you very much. Okay, kita jumpa lagi. Hope we can see again in lesson 02. Part 2, lesson 09, week 10. Lesson 09, week 10. Okay, with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.